Hello, everyone. It's Natalie Stillwell from So Goes the Future. So happy you're joining us today. Today I have Tracy. Can you pronounce your last name for me, though?
It's Tracy, and then I use my maiden name as my middle name, Bua Smith.
Okay, okay.
Bua. Yeah.
It's your maiden name. Got it. So Tracy has an interesting journey with natural health exploration for her family, including her children. So Tracy, will you just tell us a little bit about yourself and your family?
Yeah, so I was born and raised in Wilmington, North Carolina, where I raised my family now. My husband and I have been married 24 years this month, July 12th, and we have 5 children ranging from 21 down to 7. And there's one boy in there. Number 2 is a boy, and the rest are girls. And I've homeschooled since 2005. And some of my children have gone into public school for a few years. And anyway, just different dynamics every year. And I love celebrating the feast days in the Catholic Church, and just planting seeds and for my children and talking about the saints as role models. And I'm also an entrepreneur with I've partnered with a CBD company and a mental wellness company because they have changed our family's lives, the products and the business. And I also teach um, ESL, online ESL classes for 2 companies to I teach English to Chinese children. So that's me in a nutshell.
Love how you found a way to bring these multiple streams of income in to help, help you live more of the life you want to live as a mom with your kids and to be able to stay home and everything.
Yes.
Uh,
Work in progress.
yeah, yeah. It's encouraging though. So tell us a little bit about what sort of things were you or your kids experiencing with your health, and what things did you try leading up to trying the CBD company, first of all, that you now rep for?
Yeah, so my journey is 20 plus years. It started with, so I won't tell you from the very beginning, but it started with my oldest daughter, who's 21, and she always struggled with high anxiety. And she had swollen tonsils and infected tonsils and adenoids that got removed in 2011. And then in 2012, we noticed that she was had OCD symptoms. And so we went through therapy and medications, and even though it was ebb and flow, ups and downs, and she was getting adverse side effects from the meds that she was on. And so we also looked into, because of her infection in her tonsils and adenoids, I looked into what's called PANDAS, PANDAS. It stands for a long word, but basically it means a strep virus can be in somebody's system, infection, and it can go to the brain. So I kept thinking that something was going on in relation to the swollen tonsils and adenoids that got removed. And so around that time we went to a specialist, and he was trying all these supplements, and he mentioned CBD, and that was May of 2019. And at the same time in Wilmington, North Carolina, a new CBD company just launched in February 2019, organic CBD. And I said, okay, I trust the source. I know where it's coming from. And we tried the oil. Yes, it helped her feel more relaxed and she got better sleep. And I used them also. At the same time, my mom was suffering from cancer and pneumonia in the hospital, and I was using their CBD cream to help her pain with her legs and knees. And so she was getting relief from that. So I decided to partner 2 years ago with the CBD company. And also through my daughter's journey last fall, her OCD and anxiety, it was ramping up with going to school 10 hours away at college. And to make a long story short, I also discovered a mental wellness company that helps with the gut and brain axis. And those supplements have helped my daughter, truly, like, helped her gut health, which helped her brain and how she processes information. She still has anxiety like we all do, but she's not stuck, and she can go on and face her fears better. So that's how I stumbled upon I came across the mental wellness company, and I take them to for my gut health. and mental stability. So that's a quick, I think quick, but
And
yeah.
in case anyone doesn't know, the gut and brain are very intimately connected, as is
Yes.
the gut and the skin axis. There's different axes in the body with the gut, but I think, you know, when we're developing in the womb, the brain and the gut are right next to each other initially, and then the spine starts to grow and separate them. But I think it's the vagus nerve that connects
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
So this is, yeah, there's just so much correlation between what's going on in your digestive system and
Yeah.
what's going to happen in your brain. If it's inflamed, if it's overgrown with bad things, if you're not absorbing nutrients.
Inflammation, the biomes are unbalanced, the bacteria, and like you were saying, the vagus nerve. So the analogy that makes sense to me that somebody shared, because I love analogies to very complex things, is like you could have a cell phone and a cell phone tower and they work well they work well, but if they're not communicating, then they're not doing as best they can. So if you have your brain health and you're taking supplements for that and you have gut probiotics, but you're not helping the vagus nerve and the communication. So this mental wellness company, Amari Global, has supplements that build up that communication and with the daily supplements. So that's, you know, and they're very good, clean ingredients and things like that. So
That's
that's,
fantastic.
yeah.
So I have been in the world of teaching high school for about 5 years, and I'm always saddened and a little overwhelmed by what I see teenagers struggling with today, from seizure disorders to severe panic attacks that put them
Mhm.
into a mental hospital temporarily, um, lots of anxiety and depression, and then, you know, the parents are doing the best they can. They do what the doctors say. A lot of times the kids are on medications, and then, you know, they'll tell me like, hey, you know, my son might fall asleep, or my daughter's going to have this situation going on. And so I'm always having to be mindful of where they're at and what they're on and what they're dealing with. And I'm sure we can talk about causation, but for now, I think because you can relate, your daughter was very severe. You were very, very concerned for her. She wasn't really able to function day to day as she should have, and didn't, and was even despairing of having to live at all with this situation she was feeling inside.
Yeah.
I know you had told me before we started recording that you just knew there was some sort of infection that was really like attacking her brain. Maybe it was the pandas. Um,
Mhm.
and that's what helped you realize, like, let's get away from just the pharmaceuticals that have these side effects and let's go after the root cause.
Mhm.
So a lot of moms are kind of squeamish about the idea of using CBD for their teenagers, maybe because they're younger, but also because they don't fully understand how CBD works. How is it different from marijuana? Will there be any hallucinogenic effects and that sort of thing? So what would you say to moms about that?
Yeah, I completely understand. I know how they feel because before, when CBD was presented, I didn't know what it was. I thought all CBD was marijuana, but that's not the case. So the company that I partnered with, it's hemp-derived CBD. Hemp is a natural plant. It's an amazing plant, and it's related to marijuana in that it's cannabis, but hemp derived CBD is very high in CBD and low in THC. And then marijuana is very high in THC and low in CBD usually. So the THC, if it's too high, like in marijuana, it can give you the psychoactive property or the high. But with our hemp derived products, it's 0.3% THC, so the legal amount. And so what it does is it works, the cannabinoids in the plant work together to balance your body and give better sleep and less anxiety and help with pain. So our products with the company, on one big reason is that I partnered with them is because it is safe for children, for adults, for our pets, because they have the same system. Pets have the same system, endocannabinoid system that works with the CBD as humans. And so the company was founded because the mother was looking for CBD that she could trust for her and children. And that's when they knew the farmers in Chaparral, North Carolina that were growing hemp. And so they were able to make a clean organic CBD. And we're the only organic CBD company that's from farm to family, meaning everything happens at the fields from the soil all the way to the shipping. So, so I think with CBD in general, it takes an open mind and willingness to research and find out more. And there are a lot of assumptions, and it's an unregulated industry. So there's a lot of people jumping on the bandwagon because it's supposed to be a $22 billion industry in the next couple of years. So anybody can put stuff in a bottle and say it's CBD. So then you have to think about safety and transparency and quality. So just researching, Green Compass and the company I partnered with, it gave me the trust and their transparency. And that gave me more peace of mind that, this isn't just junk in a bottle, and it's not going to make anyone high or overdose or have adverse side effects. So that's a little bit
You're
about that.
saying you can use it even with your pets because is it mammals all have the endocannabinoids?
Yes. Yes. So the endocannabinoid system is in all mammals. So it was just discovered like in the 90s, and the endocannabinoid system links our circulatory system, skeletal. I mean, it's a huge system that's amazing. And the CBD works with the CBD receptors that are all in our body, on our skin. And it helps, it's like a Christmas tree, for example, just another analogy of the science behind it, but you have a Christmas tree and have lights on it, and one light is out. So that's like your CBD receptors, because of the environment and stresses, they can get depleted. So when you drop the CBD oil under your tongue, it like knows to find where that light bulb is, and it will, get that going again and get that balance. And it just finds the brain and the body and the muscles and the skeletal system. I mean, so it's kind of an amazing natural product, plant.
Described it to me almost like a key. Like it goes in, it finds the receptors, it like gets in there and it reads, do I need more or less of this thing? And it helps just
Yeah.
bring balance to every part of you.
Right.
Did you also
Yeah.
say that breast milk reproduce cannabis?
Yeah, I didn't know that and that's another reason why I love CBD and the hemp industry. It's like the more I learn, the more I realize, gosh, this is amazing, and the more I need to know. But yeah, breast milk has natural cannabinoids in it too, CBD. So I breastfed my 5 children. I had no idea that, I knew it was healthy and great, but yeah, so and there are advocates and customers with our CBD products that trust it so much that they take the oil and they can rub it on the baby's gums for inflammation. I mean, just a little bit, and it helped, to suppress some of that pain and the inflammation of the gum. I didn't know that. I was like, that is fascinating. So
I love how clean it is and that it's safe and well researched. There's lots of transparency. There's not a lot of middlemen that get involved.
right.
Have you seen any amazing results with anyone else since you've been working for this organization and helping people obtain good, clean CBD?
Yeah. So we can't make medical claims. We can't say it cures or treats anything. So we have to be in compliance. But there's thousands of testimonials of people who's getting a better quality of life. And, it started with our journey. My daughter was able to sleep better and, calm her a little bit. But then some of my customers have had one lady who was dependent, like since 1985, had an injury to her ankle, and she was using over-the-counter Tylenol and ibuprofen to get through her days. So here we are 20 years later, 40, whatever it is, 40, 35 years later. And she uses the CBD oil and it feels better. And then her eye was less inflamed, and the doctor was just amazed, like, why don't you have so much pressure in your eye? So it's like the CBD found that area in her body that needed help and balance. There's people that are getting off medications and helping, they're getting off the pain meds because they're finding that the CBD oil is really helping them relieve their pain. So there's so many testimonials. That's like the bread and butter of of the company, because of the lives being changed and children who are able to focus better and get sleep, and moms that are restless at night and wake up 20 times a night, but they're able to go to sleep and go back to sleep. And that's what I found. I wish I had CBD oil when I was raising my children because of all the, sleep issues. So, but yeah, there's lots of testimonials.
Instead of cure, I think we can just speak in terms of like it's supporting the body's systems to do their
Yeah,
work better.
right, right, right.
True,
It's
which is true.
yeah, yeah. So
If there's anything else you want to share, please jump in and feel free. But I would definitely love for you to tell our listeners how they could, get in touch with you if they want, or otherwise connect with
yeah.
the companies that you've mentioned.
Yeah. So, my one of my many goals is to start a Facebook group. It's not up and running yet, but in the meantime, I'm on Instagram with my name, at Tracy Bua Smith, TracyBua Smith, and then also Facebook, my same name. I love getting questions. I love getting messages, interaction, and just if somebody has a question, it I would love to just share what I've learned. And and just with CBD in general, there's a lot out there. And like I said, it's an unregulated industry. So as an advocate for CBD and for mental wellness company, when the specialist told us in May of 2019, like CBD, my first question was, where do I get it? Who do I trust? So as an advocate, I'm like filling in that gap between just seeing something on the shelf and you don't know how to take it, you don't know what it is. So as an advocate, I'm sharing with others and educating them about, this is what's in our CBD, this is how you take it. And I love being that person I love people trusting and educating them about what I've learned. And then the mental wellness company, Amare Global, that's if people, I feel like there's a lot of parents that are struggling. They're trying to get their child to feel better, and to be mentally stable. And there's a lot of children, like you are interacting with, a lot of children that struggle with anxiety. So the mental wellness company, I just love, that it started in 2016, and they just really are providing clean ingredients that are really focusing on not only the brain and the gut, but also that middle piece. And so, and so Green Compass with the CBD, we're the only USDA certified organic CBD company that's vertically integrated. Vertically integrated means from farm to family. We don't outsource, because 80% of CBD is coming from China, coming to America. And the hemp plant is a scavenger plant, so it cleans the air and the soil, and it can get all the, chemicals and the pollutants and things. And so that's being shipped over here to the United States and put in the gas station. And then you don't know what you have. So that's, a little bit about how to contact me and why I love doing what I do for the companies. So
Great. Thanks for being so open to people like sending you questions. As you were speaking, the Amore supplements, can it target specific types of infections, or is it an overall, like, if someone has a lot of candida overgrowth, let's say, because they grew up in the 80s like me and were given antibiotics like every other week for anything.
yeah. Yeah. Well, honestly, I don't know all the science behind it. I just know that when there's inflammation in the gut and the biomes are all like unbalanced and things like that. I don't know all the science, but I just know
Okay.
that the probiotics, because we take capsules, my daughter and I take capsules for the brain and for the vagus nerve. And then we have a powder that's for the gut and probiotics. And so those three things working together is what gives the calmness. I mean, just the fact that my daughter, after 2 or 3 months, now it takes time, just like CBD, and when you're dealing with natural supplements, consistent use. So it's not like 30 minutes later, it's going to be all fixed. It took about 2 or 3 months for my daughter to really have that cloud lifted. And she said, gosh, I feel better. It's so nice not to stress out about social situations. It's so nice to relax. And I was like, oh, wow, like I want to share this with other people. And like I said, our journey's been 20 plus years. I I cried, I prayed, like, please just help my daughter. And, it's like I said, it started with the CBD and just moving into that natural, holistic way of trying to work with our bodies. And then it moved into that. So I didn't really answer your question, but there's tons of like resources and videos that I could share too. So,
I know none of us want our children to suffer. We all want them to have the best health possible and the best
yeah.
life. So thank you for sharing
Yeah.
your story. I know we spoke outside of this interview about how there's so many various things that go into health, and there's probably even more things that work really well for each other, but we all have to do our part to tell our story of what's helping, so that overall, ultimately, I hope, our culture will change in the way we approach health
Right.
counseling. And
Right. And it's an option that maybe somebody hasn't looked at before. I present the option, and if it's right for them, great. But we were at a pain point. We were in desperate mode. That probably helped my our decision. But at the same time, I'll never forget my husband saying, just buy it. I don't care what it is, just do it. I trust you. And our daughter's crying and she needs help. And so I was like, okay, we'll try it. It's worth it. And so, but yeah, I'm so excited to just give people this option, and let them know that it is safe and it's effective. So yeah.
wonderful. Thank you so much,
Yeah.
Tracy.
Thank you, Natalie. It was a pleasure.